Well, Stanford's obviously having a hell of a year. They got a good, solid team. Guys that play to win. Point guard's a really good player. They're just clearly a better basketball team than we are, which should prove to you guys that recruiting rankings are about as important as what's in your garbage can. Because I don't know where any of those guys are ranked. They're really good. So they clearly outclassed us. You guys got any question?
Seemed kind of like a similar story as far as the trend of the way the game unfolded.
Yeah. As the game goes on, our softness shows up. You know, our selfishness at times is evident, and it's been probably the people that watch us all year on the offensive end. Some of the shots we take, and the turnovers, because certain guys don't want to pass the basketball. But you know, our lack of toughness. As the games go on, when you play against really good teams, it becomes a test of wills. You know, who's going to make mistakes? They do a good job taking care of the ball, and eventually we just break down defensively.
You made a change with David tonight, and he seemed to respond.
David had his best 2 practices of the year, the last 2 days. I don't even know what day it is today, but the last 2 days, he had 2 great practices. You know, I just tell you, I'm looking for guys right now that will just listen, because we don't have that. You know, we have guys who won't listen. So, and I told them I'm done protecting them. So we have guys that just refuse to listen and follow orders. So therefore, they don't get to play. So if you want to ask me about a certain guy, that's the answer. You know, to be honest with you, though, I had to keep playing certain guys that I don't even think they deserve to play. But I didn't want to put others back in, so I was running out of guys.
Coach, do you have an update on Cody Riley and
No.
Tiger Campbell?
No, I don't think all I can tell you is I asked if Cody had a concussion. I was told no. As far as Tiger's health, is that what you're asking?
Yeah, it looked like he was holding his knee on the bench.
No, I don't think there's anything wrong with him. Again, I'm not watching what you're seeing because I'm busy, but no, I don't. Nobody's mentioned anything to me. Did something happen I don't know about?
Jalen, Jaime, and David actually seemed to play pretty well. Is it just a matter of getting more guys on a given night to kind of step up? Maybe it's just not enough collectively?
Well, our turnovers ruined the game at the end of the first half. And then again in the second half, where they're just running down shooting layups because we won't pass the ball. So can't defend that. They had 21 points off turnovers. But I will say, I know stat sheets are what they are, but I will say I thought Jalen Hill he played with his heart tonight. I thought he competed and gave his best effort as a young guy trying to learn. Jaime's got a lot to learn. But I think I know he's not afraid. Dave, like I said, he had a couple really good days of practice. He's still got to improve in defense. Problem you're playing, when you're playing, predominantly lineup of guys that we don't have that have no anchor defensively. That's our biggest problem. So I was highly upset in the locker rooms. I told them, the facts of the case for us. Our older guys are bad defensive players, which is really ridiculous. Because it's not like they didn't do scouting reports before me. It's not like these guys scouted games before. If you're in your 5th year, you should know how to play defense by now. You might not be the world's best player, but my career, guys got older in your program. And they stayed in your program. They were serviceable guys that you could count on. The problem is we don't have that. So really disappointed with Chris Smith's effort tonight. Highly. Not his stat line, his competitive line, or his lack of competitiveness. Because he's been really good for us, and he's been a guy that's tried to listen to me. But when the going gets tough, we don't have a lot of guys that get going. You know, going gets tough. We got some guys that we're folding. So we lack toughness, to really sum it up there. I mean, we were at the, you know, in a high level game against a team that's whatever their record is, 14-2 or something. It's just a matter of toughness. They just impose their will on us.
Mick, when you've had guys on your previous teams where some are listening, some aren't listening, how do they end up coming together? Is it more, you know, it sounds like it's really out of your control at this point, and it's up to these guys to make that call.
Yeah, you know, at the end of the day, I can't play. You know, it's not like I want to get a technical foul, but the problem with me is, you know, I'm a fighter, I'm a competitor, you know, so guy puts his hand up at me, you know, I'm not even talking about what call I was talking about. Heck, I don't even remember, you know, it's just trying to show your guys you got to compete. So, I mean, you know, I don't know if that really answered your question, but at the end of the day, you know, we have proven that we can't stop anybody. Doesn't matter who you are, you know. My best friend in coaching has a head coach. He won today at Butler. You'd be fifth in the country. You give up 78 at home, they lost. You know, Kevin Willard's my guy, and I saw the score. Give up 78, you're going to lose. Kentucky gave up 81, they lost. You know, right now we don't have the fortitude, toughness, whatever you want to call it. We just don't have it. But you know, that's where I say, you know, coaching. Look, Hugs is my guy. I think he won 5 Big 12 games last year and had a losing record. Now he's let 1 or 2 losses. West Virginia, 15-2. Same coach, different players. Same coach. Older players develop their toughness. We just got to keep developing our toughness. But they're going to get challenged every day by me. Those that want to play with some pride and stand in the ring and fight will remain. They'll get better too. That's what happens. I mean, guys eventually do get better if you fight through it. There's 2 kind of players: guys that fight through it, and they eventually come out and become a player if they're coachable, and they'll fight through it. The other side, they blame coaches, teammates, they transfer, they quit, they go home. You don't want those guys in your program anyway. So,
Can you comment on what happened in that technical foul?
you have to ask him. He gave it to me. I got you on that one. Yeah. All right, guys.